Heritage and Arts and the Public Arts Selection Panel. And actually, it is just Heritage and Arts. There is not a quorum for the Public Arts Selection Panel. 5 p.m., May 15, joint special meeting. I'll call the roll call. Commission member Chair Etamad.
Here.
Vice Chair Gupta.
Here.
Commissioner Farron.
Here.
Commissioner Fong.
Here.
Commissioner Hall.
Present.
Commissioner Mujica Beavers absent. Commissioner Noguez absent. Oral communications. Any public like to speak?
Have you had any texts or emails?
No, I've had no emails ahead of time.
No emails, okay.
And no comment from the public. So moving along, we can receive the chair report.
Yes, it's good to be back in Tiburon, although I had a good time for 2 weeks. Yeah. What I wanted to report was about the ad hoc that we had for getting to a point that we can go to the council and ask for a permanent funding for public art. So we made an appointment with Greg Channing. We had a good meeting with Victoria Fong and Arjun Gupta and myself. So he kind of felt that it is a good idea if you get in touch with one of the council members or the mayor and sit down and talk with them, and they will give you directions how to go about it. So when I came home, we created a letter. I sent a letter to one to mayor and one to vice mayor, Alice Frederick. But the next day, just the day before I was going away, an email came from Alice Frederick saying that they're very busy. They cannot have any meetings with us, but she has talked to Greg Channing, and he will help you any way he can. So you make an appointment with him and get the directions from him. So that is how it is. Now we are busy with this project that we have in hand. Then we will have the time to make another appointment with Greg Channing and go talk with him and try to have a good plan so that he can take it to their agenda and have it discussed by the council. So that was my report. And this morning we had with Arjun, we had coffee with Thomas Jackson. We told him we were excited, and I think he's kind of getting nervous a little bit, but he was very happy as well. He's having all his helpers and friends around him, and they have a nice big room for them, empty, with empty tables so that they can start putting the pieces together, getting them ready. And on Thursday morning, the public arts people will be arriving at the lodge. Public Works will come to the lodge and put them all in their car and take it to the site, and he will start the process of installation. So that's my report.
Do you want to talk?
Now I need Arjun to yes,
Okay.
please.
So the timelines are this.
I think we should go to the action item and actually open it, and
Okay.
then go over the
Okay.
items as they come.
Sure.
Action item number 1, receive update on Thomas Jackson final preparations for the Thomas Jackson Public Art installation, including timeline, volunteer support for installation, marketing, and VIP reception at the lodge. Receive report on final budget for Thomas Jackson project, and consider approval of changes or an increase in final expenditures, including but not limited to marketing and reception. So it is lined up as staff report, Thomas Jackson text label, final, and poll banner left and right. But if you'd like to go straight to the timeline first and do that, that's fine. The timeline was not listed online.
Sure.
So if you'd like to just
Okay.
run through it, that's great.
This timeline here?
The timeline that I put in front of you, yeah, that's the finalized timeline, as we understood it, the most
almost
recent.
Like,
If there are changes, then we can certainly update them.
so, Thomas, so Thomas arrived last night. He's staying at the lodge. He has volunteers who some have arrived today, others are arriving tomorrow and presumably on Wednesday. As Jolly mentioned, there's a room where they're beginning to put things together in the lodge. At 10 a.m. on Thursday, Public Works will come in their truck and take everything to the site. And Thursday and Friday are the 2 days that Thomas and his crew will be putting in the installation. So it should be ready by Friday night or Saturday morning. Saturday at 4 p.m., we're going to have the opening. And at the opening, as we had discussed in an earlier meeting, Jale will make some remarks. I will make some remarks. I'll turn it over to Victoria. She will make some remarks, and then Thomas will speak as the final speaker there. We discussed this morning that since the opening is at 4, maybe we'd give 10 to 15 minutes for people to come and arrive before we actually begin speaking. So plan to speak around, between 4:15 and, around 4:15, 4:30, we'd start the program. Then, people can remain there for as long as they like, but at 6 p.m. is the VIP reception at the lodge, and that will go from 6 to 8. And you're welcome to bring your that's for the donors, Tiburon Public Foundation, Peninsula Foundation, the Town Council, some of the individual donors who have contributed, as well as PASP members and Heritage and Arts members, and Patty, of course. And we are all welcome there with our partners and spouses, and that will run from 6 to 8. On Sunday, Thomas will be out there taking pictures. I'm assuming he's going to take some pictures on Saturday, too. Patty?
I just wanted to put in that Jale Chair Ahmed had spoken with Thomas, and he was asking if the Public Works has any type of lift for him to take photographs from. They do not. So it was kind of assumed that he might go up on the knoll and photograph from there, but if he does want to hire a lift while he's here, they're happy to put him in touch with the proper people, but we don't have anything to get him up high.
I have a ladder.
A drone. The Director of Public Works offered his personal drone.
Oh, cool.
That can take still pictures also, but they are not of the quality of a high-powered camera that we assume Thomas Jackson uses for his prints.
Well, I'll mention that Thomas has his friend and filmmaker from Los Angeles, Dava, who's here, and who is also looking into options for her documentary that she's making for a drone as well. And I did mention to Thomas that, if he needs it, I have a ladder that's about 10 feet tall. I don't know if that's going to cut it for him, but, I have it.
Well, and the Public Works has tall ladders too, but we were assuming he wanted to get much higher than that if he was looking for a cherry picker.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well,
Yeah, a high ladder won't do it.
Yeah,
guess
It
not.
has to be higher
Yeah.
than that.
yeah.
It is a special, because it is a very wide area, and he wants to have a wide area.
Maybe there are some maybe there's some spots.
Fire department for help.
Fire department. Great idea. Great idea.
Cherry pickers are pretty expensive to rent.
Yeah, just get the fire department to come out with their ladder.
Or certain,
Well, if it is really absolutely necessary for him to do it, but he would like
we
that.
just subsidize a cherry picker for him.
Well, the cost of just, and it's going to come up later, of hanging the banners, which requires a bucket also, maybe not as high as one he would be looking for. With the rental and the labor, it's about $500. So they could coordinate, but possibly. No, he won't be here when those pole banners are going up. But has he considered going up on the knoll?
There's the knoll. There's also, there's that playground as well where you can get up, a little bit higher. It's on a hill. I mean, the play structures, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And,
That is again side view, but he wants the view from the top. From the
that's a
height.
drone.
The other thing is that one of the foundation member, the architect.
Could you please speak into your microphone
Sorry.
and have it on? Thank you.
Maybe you could try one of the foundation architect. I think he has some services for drones, He's shown pictures of houses and land. Maybe he has some ties. I don't know. Yeah, he is. I think he's, what is the one that used to be on the boardwalk?
Holscher?
The architect.
Holscher?
Hosher.
Yeah. He will be at the reception.
He is on the board of the foundation. Maybe he could give you some leads. I know you've been on the phone a lot. Sorry.
I have a question. Will there be an official printed program handout at the installation? Or is this more of a
I think it's
easygoing speaking?
I think it's more of an, I see that could be important when you have a delegation from Portugal, but I think in our case, it's okay. We want to keep the comments to, we want to let people enjoy the work, and we want to introduce everything and everybody, and have at it. We've been waiting for a long time to see this thing, so let's.
Yeah, and if the artist wants to say something about the friends that they have been helping
Volunteers,
him,
yeah.
it is all the volunteers, he can do that.
It's free,
Yeah, just-
free interaction with
Yeah,
nature.
Yeah.
It's very natural, very collaborative nature.
Yeah.
Then
else?
I'll just go to this other item, D, the town hall lobby. Unfortunately, Thomas was unable to bring everything with him, and the one thing that he was not able to bring were some of these photographs, but he did promise us that he would send some photographs by the end of this month when after he's gone back to Philadelphia, and he'll have some for us for the town hall at that point.
Yeah, that is in the agenda someplace here. Yeah,
So,
it is,
It's actually not an agenda item, it's just on the timeline.
timeline.
it
Yeah.
is the timeline. Yeah, that's right, it's in the
Okay.
timeline.
Have I covered?
So we will talk about that. I think we have covered everything. Advertising. That
We
is-
should take that under the staff report, because it's
That
part
is
of that,
under
yes.
staff report,
Mhm.
because
So would
I
you like
can
me to
report as well
read that staff report?
What I did
Okay.
on that.
So this is the staff report for the Thomas Jackson Art Installation Opening and Reception, special meeting, May 15. We already, on the background, had reviewed that background. Nothing has changed there in terms of the installation date, times, reception date, times, and the reporting by the, I'll just ask for a quick update. Any update on the San Francisco Chronicle reporter?
Yes, I sent an email to her and gave them
To the
Thomas
To the
Jackson's-
Chronicle?
Not the
Okay, that's-
Chronicle is going to be there the whole time that he's installing.
Okay, we'll just take them one at a time. So that is
That is
done,
the
Arjun?
Chronicle.
Chronicle, yeah.
Okay.
Chronicle is coming this week to follow, document the installation, and will be there on
Okay.
Saturday.
Great. And then Tiburon 94920 called to do an article. Did that get done, or?
Candace from 94920 has spoken with Thomas, and I think it's going to be in the June edition, probably.
Okay, and the IJ and the ARC?
Yeah, that is the one I was trying to say, that I sent an email, gave them the information,
Both?
the cell phone number of Thomas Jackson to them, so they can call themselves and set up whatever they need.
The IJ and the ARC?
That's
Okay,
it.
great.
Yeah.
And then I thought of Marin Magazine. So I got the information about Jim Wood from Patty, and I called Jim. And he said that he would be with his wife in all our parties for him. But I said it would be very nice if you want to do something in the magazine. He said that he would talk with his wife, who's kind of, I think, is an editor or publisher of Marin Magazine. So I gave him the information on Thomas Jackson, his cell phone number. They can get hold of him, talk with him, or do whatever they need to do.
And I'll add that I spoke with Deirdre at the ARC, and even though we didn't do like a full-on press release for this opening, she has all the information for the opening that she needs. And she's also interested in, another follow-up article when the installation is up and we have some photographs. Yeah.
So at this point, it might be, even though we would normally wait until we're finished reading the staff report, it might be a good time to ask for public comment so that public could comment on these types of things. So would you like to step up to the microphone? It's the only way we can do this. You need to be on air. And turn the microphone on.
Microphone always does that.
Testing.
That's good. Yeah, we can hear you.
Right. If you'd like to introduce yourself?
Victoria Miller, PASP member. I was just going to suggest San Francisco Magazine. I have a contact there. So if you'd like me to reach out to them, I'll do that. And then my only other question, which maybe you're going to get to it, is about the May 18th reception, which seems to be about the dairy mural, but Thomas Jackson and friends are invited, or I'm not sure.
I could comment on that. So when they set, that was the only date that they could get these musicians to play, and it's a private VIP reception. And I told, or I asked, the director, Vasco Moraes, I said, we are going to have our Thomas Jackson artist here and his friends, and I'd like to know if they would be invited, and they are invited to that as well. So, and the PASP and HNA members. So I have an invitation that I'll be sending out. In fact, I have a picture of it here, and everyone has a copy of it up here, so.
But it really
Yeah.
is. It's
It is
not about him. It's just
correct. It was
that.
their only time that they could play, so they're really, inviting the people that are the supporters, but we would be able to say a few words about the Thomas Jackson installation taking place also, and thereby reach out to other people as well. Anything else you'd like to add? Okay. All right. Thank you.
I'm just going to follow up, Victoria. So, really the information for SF Magazine, if they want to cover it, is Saturday, May 20th at 4 p.m. at South of Knoll. That's it.
I wanted to see if Is there any possibility of a microphone for the opening in the park, for the opening time?
I'll find out, yes.
If there could be a
Good.
small one we could carry on, that would be great. Because after all, it is open space. It is too much noise all around, and we could not, people cannot
Was there one at the
hear
Dairy
each
Mural?
other. If it is possible, please.
Oh, okay, then it must be
Thank
possible.
you. Yes.
Right, great. Good point.
How many people know about it, the 4 o'clock opening? How public has that been?
Oh,
Deirdre is writing in the ARC for Wednesday's ARC. There's a banner at the Blackies, and then it's just kind of, word of mouth and trying to get it out there. I think, we'll have to get something to the website and the Facebook page. I mean, I'm going to put something on 94920 on Facebook.
And also, don't forget, everyone's personal social media has always been the best push there.
I mean, I'll add that it's a tough weekend. It's a tough weekend because there are a lot of school
Graduations.
children's graduations, as well as playoffs for Little League baseball and lacrosse and all of that stuff. So that's all happening.
I can put it on Nextdoor also, which would be important.
But I think my feeling is that as long as we have several dozen people there, it should be fine, and it's going to be up for 7.5 weeks, and that's going to give people plenty of time, and I'm sure word will quickly go around because it's going to be a pretty big installation.
I've had 2 inquiries from people from the East Bay who follow his work and are really dedicated, who wanted to know when the opening was. So they're already, I imagine they're reaching out to him as well to find out.
And he's putting it on his Instagram page, so
There.
everybody
There you go.
is a fan.
And I think it's going to be visible as people drive by, and they're going to really find out. Yeah, and I just like to thank you and everyone for doing all this publicity and all.
yes.
Yeah, I ran into a friend of mine who works at the DeYoung, and she found out from his Facebook page, and she said, yeah, I want to volunteer. And
Great.
so I'm going to reach out to her. I might have a few people meet up and then walk over there.
I would assume the SF Chronicle, if they're following the entire thing, is already putting it on their social media, which would reach a big audience.
I'll follow up with Thomas on that because he's been in direct contact with SF Chronicle.
Right, you would think.
So I had a couple questions. Number one, I have a photo of the banner here. I'd be happy to have this posted on our website. It does not say the time of the reception, but it does say that the opening date is May 20th. And hopefully people are looking at it as they drive by. It's really colorful and beautiful, so thank you,
Yeah, that's
Gretchen
very
and
nice.
Patty,
Wish
for
that
organizing that.
The timing was on it.
Yeah, the time is not on here.
Could we slap on a thing like today, 4 p.m.?
4 p.m. thing. Maybe we could.
Just kind of like a sash across, above it, so that today, 4 p.m., or Saturday, 4 p.m.
don't see why not.
I don't know. I don't know if that's possible, some kind of white tape or something.
I mean, we
Look into it. It won't rain. It's not going to rain.
we can also
Yeah, that
print
was
out
keep your
smaller
fingers-
versions of that banner and just stick them up on the at Boardwalk and
Right, the posters is what we should definitely be doing.
In
So-
town is very important. If we could put something where people come out of
woodlands and rustic and.
woodlands and by the water when the people come in to go
And at the
to-
2 hotels.
Yeah, and the
lodge.
hotels, and
Yeah.
hotels are really good. Yeah.
Oh, just finishing up on our press coverage, that's awesome that Victoria has a contact at SF Magazine. For the post coverage, what I want to stress is that it's really, really important on behalf of our donors in the town that we connect this to the commission, the Heritage and Arts Commission, so that in the future, if people want to donate, they recognize that, oh, this commission has done things in the past, as well as past. So in particular, I don't mean to call out, but Candace from 94920 did a wonderful article and was so excited to receive it. However, it was never mentioned that it was associated with the Heritage and Arts Commission, and every time I walk by the Dairy Arts mural, I'm so proud, but it's also not on there. So I just think to increase donations and volunteerism towards the Heritage and Arts Commission, it's our duty as custodians to work with all of these contacts to make sure they understand why this is happening, so that we can continue to get the generous funding that's made this possible. In addition to that, I want to extend our outreach to, there's Olivia Decker-Sue is affiliated and owns, actually, Hot Living, I think it's called. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful magazine. Hot
A
Living.
thought came to me, I'm going to talk to Thomas Jackson himself and ask him whenever he's talking about his installation and his work here in Tiburon, he should mention it is Heritage and Arts Commission project that he's doing. So I think it would be good because he's the main character here.
It's a great idea. One other.
Deirdre and all the people around, they just don't mention it.
Yeah. So.
And that is not right because we are the ones who are working on it. So maybe he will listen to me more and then listen to you more. But I think he would do it.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
He's really a nice guy. He's really very nice.
Excuse me, is it possible to have an enlarged Heritage and Arts logo to be put near there?
Next to the installation.
Somewhere, but I don't want to interrupt Trish, sorry.
No, that's exactly what I was going to say, is any time we can do brand awareness, it's the town of Tiburon.
So there is a text label, there are several text labels, I think we're getting to that, right, Patty? And that has our logo prominently displayed.
So you agree with me to talk to Thomas Jackson about this? Okay, thank you.
And in addition to that, I will try to lob a couple calls out to Betty Wu at KPIX and Vernon Glenn. If there's nothing big going on for them, sometimes they'll do these drive-bys with their cameras, especially if it's a beautiful day and they're in the neighborhood, and this is extremely exciting. So,
Amazing.
I know KPIX, Betty U, and they also sometimes do the weather report from here, and I'm sure they would love the color background.
That'd be cool, yeah.
Okay.
I'm total support of Trish, and I'm very glad she called out these things. Thank
We are
you.
all in total.
and then the last thing is that even if they can't be there on Saturday because it's such a busy time, we can, if we can get photos, the more we can do, we can follow up with the photos. We can send it and they'll pick it up, especially if it's timely. And the other thing is, it will run for a couple months. It's from May, June, and it ends in July, right?
Lots of opportunities.
Okay, if we, great marketing ideas. I've noted the things where I need to get on. So on the analysis of the funds, if there's no further comment on the marketing ideas, funds need to be considered and approved for expenses. We know, we've been over those before, and there have been some changes. The breakdown of funds is tiered, and everyone had seen that already. However, there is number 2, a $4,000 donation expected to come in tomorrow. And so you now see that there were the previous private donations, $5,330, and expected donation to arrive tomorrow, $4,000, $5,000 from the Tiburon Peninsula Fund grant donation, and $7,000 from the town of Tiburon. So now that would bring, if this expected donation comes in, the monies that would be collected would be $21,330. The funds are expended in a certain order. That has been explained before, with the town of Tiburon funds being used last. They do not remain in any designated or undesignated fund if unneeded, and they will go back into the town of Tiburon. So, at the HNA meeting, April 25, the commission approved the following: additional cost overrun of $2,000, the airfare as presented of $650.60, and marketing costs not to exceed $1,000. So now we have a much better idea at this meeting of how it's breaking down. The actual costs to date that we know of, not including general operating funds previously expended for early marketing efforts and public reception, so those already happened. That was before this became a viable project. And now we work with project funds from here on out. So the artist fee, including the installation structure, was originally $10,000. The additional cost overrun of $2,000 is a real amount. The artist airfare we know is $650 and $60, and we know we put a banner up and it costs $75.30. So we basically expended already $12,725.90. The additional estimated costs, which we were really able to bear down on this past week, have had some changes up and down. The VIP reception, as I mentioned last time, we were trying to get a nicer presentation, I would say, menu-wise. So we were looking at 25. It was voted to go up to 35 plus tax and tip. You can see the breakdown there for $44.90. If we have 50 people, and right now we're at about 31, maybe I think it went up to 35 today, so I think it's reasonable that we would get to 50, would be $2,245. Pole banners. This is where there was a big change. At the time that we were pricing out pole banners, who knew that we had a specialized size for our pole banners? And all of the low-cost pole banners that you can purchase online don't do custom sizes like this, with grommets in their certain spot and everything. Davis Signs is the one that does all of our pole banners, and they are $120 each. He has offered 7 of them at $120 each, with the 8th one free, which would be $840. Tax, $69.30. Installation, because it takes a bucket, and labor and the bucket rental is approximately $500. So the price has gone up. The money is there, as you can see when you just glance down at the total of these, and we have 21,000 plus available when the donation comes in. So I'll just continue on and we can discuss it later. If you would decide not to have pole banners, nothing's been ordered yet, but that is where that stands right now. It's a learning experience, this whole thing on costs and how things are working, that's for sure. Text boards. So these are, you buy them in a lot of 16 boards. It's the way that the product is purchased. And they do allow you to have different text boards. So we don't need 16 signs that are just stay off the grass, basically, don't touch the installation. So we could use X number for that, a certain number of them for sponsor boards, and also directional boards from Blackie's Pasture saying art installation this way with an arrow, and have using the background of our logo that we've used for everything, the colorful background, to point people from where they're walking to get to the installation. So with 16 boards, we just need to decide how many of each. Maybe ask Thomas Jackson how many he feels around the perimeter. He has more of a feel, or maybe he needs to start installing it, I don't know, or go walk it to see how many you think you need that's around protecting the installation. Miscellaneous posters and flyers we just spoke about, and we had already talked about $100 should cover that. And also when the volunteers work on Thursday or Friday, or Thursday and Friday, coffee and snacks, and I'd like someone to volunteer to, I'm happy to get them, but someone needs to take them out there because those are work days. So that would be probably $100. So the estimated total of additional items, as explained, is $4,164.30. for a grand total estimation of $16,890.20. Staff recommends that H&A consider approval of the additional estimated costs, and that should say "and existing costs," not to exceed $18,000, throwing in a buffer of $1,200 there for any other unexpected expenses. And coming in under the money that actually is raised, again, with the caveat that that $4,000 expected donation comes in. I feel very confident this person has been working with When Will I Be In, wants to pay by credit card. I don't believe it'll be derailed, so there we are. So we'll open it up for discussion.
Oh, Patty, I had a
Would you
question.
like to? Yeah.
Oops. Oh, public comment first, or?
And then
Public comment,
Go after
Richard
her.
Rosen. The mic is on. The mic is on, and you're on TV.
Yeah, so I just have one question. Can you hear me? Is this right? Looking at the budget, and there might be $6,000 left over if we have a total of 21,000, right? So the way this is going to be expended is that $6,000 will no longer be available to the H&A. It's going to go back to the township, Ron, am I correct?
That's correct, whatever the balance is.
Great. So the next time we want to do something, we're starting at essentially zero, aren't we?
These funds were requested and earmarked for a specific project, so they have to be used for that specific project. It's assumed that when you go for new projects, that if funding from the town can be found, then those monies would roll from one to the next.
So I just want to just make a couple of comments about future funding, future fundraising. I think the first thing is that having this amount of money is actually available to the Heritage and Arts Commission for a public art project is something that we have never seen before, if I'm not correct. And we have struggled for many years with, $2,000 or $3,000. And whenever I can speak.
$500.
PASP committee, when, we were thinking about various projects and we were always stymied by the fact that we just didn't have any money to expend on a consultant or expend on a speaker or whatever it happened to be, right? So when you divide things up into small individual projects like this, it's going to be a difficult road to separate each one out and have separate fundraising for what have you. Now, it works with the Thomas Jackson proposal because that is obviously one specific thing that will never be probably repeated. And the point I think I want to make is that when we started down the road for Thomas Jackson, we actually raised funds. People came forward. We had the donors reception. People wrote checks. We have people coming forward with checks. This is a phenomenon that I expected to see from the beginning when we talked about public art, that we have a base of people in our community who are interested in this and will, in fact, donate if you just ask them under the right circumstances and for the right project. So I'm encouraging the Heritage and Arts Commission to do two things. One is to arrange something, methodology with the town where you don't have to go back and try to work around one specific thing, right? So, and to, right, to help that. And the second thing is to, in general, work on the public arts situation so that people will see, now they'll see a public art project, and we could start putting knows we've demonstrated we can do it. And without, knocking too many heads together. So I think it's very, very positive, and I'm happy to see this go forward. I'm sorry that I'm missing the entire thing. But,
Be up for 2 months. It'll be up for 2 months.
no, I'm talking about,
I understand. Of course.
listen, I could go out there and celebrate by myself.
I'll go with you.
Yeah.
We could have a closing celebration.
But that is one other thing, and to piggyback on what Patricia was saying earlier, is that you probably should look at the full length of this
Yep.
installation. And so we'll have one thing at the beginning, but you could have a variety of events go ongoing, whatever, just 7 years.
And I think I'll add that, given there's a 7-week time frame, we have 7 weeks to decide what to do with the funds that are left over. And we can certainly, because, the installation is closing in July 9th, and we have several meetings before then. I know that Judith at PSP also expressed an interest in doing a potential musical performance
Musical
around there as
performance.
well, which would be wonderful. And I know that there is going to be other publicity and marketing costs associated with any other event that takes place out there. So I think,
So you're saying any event that surrounds the Thomas Jackson
Yeah.
is eligible to spend the town's money,
that's right.
which is one of my main goals in life.
It's not my decision.
I'll add also that I did have a brief conversation with Thomas Jackson's friend and filmmaker, Dava, and she said that she would be willing to do a short publicity film for H&A that focuses on the Jackson installation. And I think that that's something that we can also consider as we go forward in the next few weeks.
She's young and
Another thing, I want to thank Victoria for this, because, she's the one that drove this project in the very beginning, and it's innovative, okay? It's not putting paintings on the wall, it's not, whatever. It's really innovative. I think that might drive more innovative, open us up to do more innovative things.
And so I guess your point being that the more publicity for something this innovative and creative and original, the better for all of us. Exactly.
All right, I'm going home.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard Rosen.
thank you, Richard. Sure appreciate it. Yes.
I'd just like to follow up. I absolutely agree I think we need to have some kind of permanent funding. And although this is a very busy time, I'm on the ad hoc committee. I really would encourage the three of us get together with Greg Chanis and really move this forward, perhaps even for this year's budget. Because otherwise, if we wait till
Do it
June,
next
Okay,
week.
you can't, this
We
is not
can't
on
do
the
it.
agenda.
Finish
Excuse me, this is not on the agenda.
Appointment
Chair
first.
Etamad, this is not on the
okay,
agenda, so
I
it can't be
just said
discussed.
for the funding.
Right, but
just to
no
come-
discussion,
To
yeah.
continue.
Thank you.
Getting back to the agenda.
Yes, thank
I
you.
have a comment, unless we're going to see if there's any other public comments. I have a
I
comment.
am not seeing any.
So following up on Richard, point well made and well taken. So one of the questions I had in the comment, it would be these receptions that we're having. I have a short list of very special people that I've been speaking with about getting involved with H&A and donating to H&A. And it's very hard to get these people to come to things, but if they are in town, I would want to check with Patty on the numbers. And I'm talking like, I don't know, between all of us, I have at least probably a couples that should be invited because they're very.
Do you mean to the May 20
Yeah,
reception?
no, I haven't invited anyone. Or even wherever
her-
we have capacity, even on the 18th. And also after listening to Richard, I'm thinking of cultivating these donors for future time periods when we will need that money. So
Okay, so two-part comment there. The first part is that at the last meeting, I don't know if you got a chance to review that, but we already voted to move away from what had been already presented to the public about who would be invited to this VIP reception, and it was very tightly tied to how much they donated. And it was voted that we would then include the people who had donated 500 and over. So we deviated from that already. So it becomes difficult now to vote to bring select people in who actually haven't even donated at all. I think that that would be deviating a lot from what was already stated in public.
Okay, so that would be called a donor acknowledgement event. Okay, that's where
Right,
you
that could
thank
be the
someone.
future, I would
Okay,
say.
that is a donor acknowledgement event.
Right,
What I am speaking about is development,
right.
developing donors. Unfortunately, because of our COVID restrictions, I was not able to attend in person, and we don't have Zoom access. So and I didn't have COVID, but I didn't want to take a chance on anybody else catching it in case I didn't know about my status. So I'm talking about development for future donors. I hate to see us. It's very nice that we're thanking our donors that are $500 and above, if that's meaningful to them. And if they can be here, then that's obviously always a really nice thing. But I think our donors also want to see this continue and want to see the HNA do more in the future, either from them or through the community. So that's why it's a shame that we don't have that opportunity.
Yeah, the
But
second part, let me
development
just
is
give,
not on the agenda either, so we should probably have a
that,
meeting.
that's just it. I mean, it's two different things. The-
I do have a question
Well,
regarding
excuse me, I want to get the
budget.
second part of her
Okay.
question. That was the May 18. That reception isn't being at all put on by us, so we can't actually accept that the May 18 is being put on by Vasco Mirage as a special reception that they're doing, and HNA is invited, PASP is invited, and Thomas Jackson, but we don't have any
Is that
control over
one
the
or
guest
two?
list.
Just for clarification, we're invited.
When I
You
send
gotta
out
guess.
the invitation, I'll get a confirmation on that.
Thanks.
And I just got the invitation today, this afternoon, from him,
Thanks.
which is
We-
there.
We
You
don't want
see
to
the
crash the
invitation.
party.
So there's nothing that we're spending on
No,
from this point forward?
no, this is
So everything's
all
funded
spent
for
by the
everything else.
Portuguese.
And
yeah.
also, the way that development is done in the arts, and then I see Victoria has a comment as well. From my experience, development is part of acknowledgement, always. So if you have, and I'll take the ballet for example, because we have their director of development happens to reside in our community, former director, now she's with the Fine Arts Museum. You have your acknowledgement event. You always also include your future donors, your community into the events because it's a cultivation process that's very carefully step by step. So it's not really bifurcated. It's all hand in hand, and it's just a good opportunity if we have the budget to be able to do it, which we had the budget, I guess, but we didn't vote on it that way or look at it that way at the time.
Could we put that on the May 30th? Because I think we will have a little bit left over. Maybe we could have a
We can
future
talk about what goes on the.
outreach.
Sure.
Okay, are you okay?
Now
Future outreach, though, let me just verify that future outreach would not be tied to the Thomas Jackson, so you wouldn't be using those funds, the town funds, if it wasn't directly tied to the Thomas Jackson.
We could, I'll just say, we could invite them to the Toms, give them a private showing.
Okay, well,
To
you
the
can
Thomas
discuss that, and we can, your microphone isn't on. The thing is, we're getting into a different type of subject. We need to stick with the staff report that has to do with these
right.
specific items,
Okay.
please. Thank you.
Yeah, Trish and I can talk.
Yes, you can talk.
Okay.
We have a question. We have public.
Yeah, we already had public, we can't, a public comment should come all at once with each section, so please go ahead.
I think this section now we're ready.
Well, we already had moved, we're in the money part, but if you're going back to the reception, we'll make an exception.
people that some of us are trying to move to help with public art here, so I would totally hope that we could accept a few people coming to the reception that maybe haven't already donated, but,
Interested in the program.
yeah, because I sort of have that question as well. I bring,
I mean, ultimately,
people versus just my spouse or something, so I really think we.
and I think I agree with everything that's being said here, and I feel that while the Thomas Jackson Project is a specific project, it is part of a larger program that we're trying to establish, and in that sense, if there is room for 50 people, but we know only 45 or 43 have RSVP'd, and we're paying for 50 people, then perhaps we might be able to invite those who are future donors who are interested in the program, which is the umbrella program for the individual Thomas Jackson Project.
The RSVP deadline isn't until tomorrow, so we don't know. As I said, I think we're at about 33 people at this time.
Do
I-
we have to RSVP? We didn't know that.
Pardon?
Do we have to RSVP?
I'd like to have the +1. I'm guessing that everyone's coming, but I haven't heard back. I would like to know, are you one or two
Oh.
people? Absolutely. Yeah. I still would, I have to just bring up the fact that when you have an invitation that specifically says this is a VIP reception for people who are donating over X amount of dollars, at the 11th hour, what does it look like to the public when you're saying now you can all personally invite who you think would be a future donor? When people have already realized they were not invited, where does that line fall for each and every one of you about the person who was not invited or invited and why? When there was a hard, as I said, these are all learning experiences for all of us of how we might build this the next time, with all of the really good input about the reasons why it
Yeah.
should or could have been different. But I would ask you to really ponder that question
Yeah.
of, now you decide.
I just have a question. So did we receive an invitation and we haven't replied, or I just want a clarification on all of that?
I had sent it out to, I probably didn't send
Okay,
the H&A,
yeah.
I
Okay,
got
that's all
everyone
right.
else.
That's okay. We're
And
just
just
following
assuming,
up, and
and
I
I will,
agree.
and I
We're
apologize for that.
We're all working together, and it's
Yeah.
perfectly
Yeah.
okay. And I'll follow up with Trish and on some of the other ideas. But anyway, I do have a question about the pole banners. We're back to the real
Yes,
thing.
sure, absolutely.
When would they be going up? Because Thomas Jackson's already here.
Oh, they can have them ready. They won't be up for when it's up, but this is more to drive interest in the next couple
Later
of
in
months
the
anyway.
month.
But
Okay, I
in
just
7
wanted-
days, they can be done and up.
And what happened to that feather banner? That was about $300. It's
Well,
not on
when we
here.
talked about how, Arjun and I discussed that, and we were feeling, but you can certainly discuss it now and you can switch back, that having more than one printed sponsor banner where you could actually read what goes with the logo, rather than just logos that people might not recognize at the site, might be a better way to show the sponsors. But if you'd like to go back to the feather banner,
No, I
that's
just
an option.
didn't see it, and
Right.
I didn't know, whatever.
So-
Just want a clarification, no problem.
I can give you more clarification on that, Victoria. So there are, when we're doing the text labels, which is here, that you have to buy a pack of 16. And so we don't need 16. So we're going to do text labels, but also some sponsor labels, sponsor signage there as well.
Yeah, I was going to say that the feather banner was a little bit expensive for just one, and it
right,
looks
that's what we
very
were thinking.
lonely.
We
with
could get
just
more
one.
coverage with more of the others.
Thank you for the clarification. Second question was, I don't see any budget here for the takedown, Is that going to be costly, and will there be volunteer? Do we have to provide
I
coffee?
have
and
no
all that?
idea. That would come
Okay.
from Thomas Jackson.
All right. That's all I thought about the money.
Again, the lifetime of the project goes through to July 9th. So we have the budget right now, assuming that the final donor comes in tomorrow, we're looking at, what was it, $21,000 or something like that? $21,380.
It would be assumed, though, that the $10,000 quote from the artist in the beginning would have included
Down.
putting up and takedown, that you would believe that the entire project was included in that.
I was just thinking about incidental, or maybe we have a nice gathering at the
Oh,
end.
that type of thing.
Any
Yeah.
Closing, oh, yeah,
like
that's a
I'm sort of
closing?
following up on what Trish said and using the money in accordance with Thomas Jackson. And Victoria also mentioned maybe there might be something in July to keep the interest up. But that could be put on the agenda.
Well, once we have his work up, maybe we could do something there. Just give a little party or gathering or just
Afternoon
so that
delight.
it gets
For culture,
Yeah.
culturation.
yeah. So that is something we have down the line. Yeah, we think about. It would be good. Yeah.
Okay.
Especially if the photos are from the project that he has done here in Tiburon.
Right.
Because there were, just to kind of elaborate on that idea of potential donors, there were a lot of donors who were in the $100, $200, $300 range, $80 range. And how would you decide, I'm going to invite potential donors as opposed to those donors? That's where it starts to, just because of the way it was set up in the beginning. So for future thought.
I think that's a matter of follow-up. And it's, that's another responsibility of our team. Couple points, just in terms of future events, just want to remind everybody that it's the 4th of July holiday, and the first week of July, it's kind of in the middle, so a lot of people are out that full week. So they start going away the beginning of the week, and then they're gone through the full week. The other point that I wanted to make, I guess, is eluding me right now, but it was important, so.
Well, before we get to those details, would you like to vote on the, considering approval of the additional
Oh,
estimated costs?
That was the point.
Oh.
On voting on that, one of
Oh.
the things, at my first glance, I thought it was expensive. And it is more than we would like it to be for these, especially the banners. I think those come to about $1,409 if you don't
Yeah.
include the other.
That's pretty high.
That's very high for
So the only thing that I was thinking is that there has not been a lot of advance notice to this, and that those are possibly very visible. So if it was a way to be more inclusive to the community, to create awareness, then it might be a good idea, because people would see them. They wouldn't have to go to a shop and read a sign. It'd be like much more visible. So
Especially if they were down around the ferry and the downtown where people are arriving.
I agree.
I mean, do people, I always notice the ones for
Downtown is
DeYoung
very
and the
I like
museums
to
in
have
the
something
city.
by the ferry. I think that's a great suggestion. And to follow up on, to follow the agenda and what Trish said, I also think it's a little bit expensive, and I wish we had known and we could plan something else. But at this time, I think the colors are going to really be a nice change from the dull navy blue that I'm seeing right now. I guess it hurts the pocketbook, but I think having some color and attraction would be worth the money for now.
Downtown.
I agree with you.
Okay.
And if we could have something by the ferry, it'll be wonderful, where they have the schedule.
By the ferry is very
We can get to
important.
that. We have another meeting at the end of May, and we can certainly get that on the agenda for that, and a design even for that ferry. Maybe Victoria, you might think of a ferry sign design that we could do.
Yeah, with our logo on it in the
Pretty cool.
corner.
their space.
Well, are we talking about pole banners or what?
No, just like another sign.
Oh,
Another sign. I mean, it
Another
could be
sign.
something as simple as something that maybe we can stick into the lawn or something, I don't know.
Yeah, that would be good.
So that people come off the ferry and they see
It's
it.
a nice lawn.
They say, you can take bus number 219 or walk down the bike path or drive down to Blacky's pasture and park.
Is there any way to put anything by that anchor, the
Yes.
drive
We
about?
can look into it. We'll look into it.
Because I think a lot of people park there to wait for the ferry, and you're going to be
roundabout.
seeing, yeah, the roundabout, yeah.
Yeah,
Should we
can
take a vote
okay
on the-
anything.
Yeah, we could take a vote on the budget at this point, the action item, so.
Does somebody want to make a motion?
Yes, anybody wants to make a motion?
I move that we accept the budget as currently presented and documented, and we consider any additional items in support of execution that were discussed,
Second,
Not to exceed 18,000, just to be
not
specific.
to exceed 18,000.
is it 18 or 16.8?
18.
18.
Okay, got it. Second,
You, roll call vote. Chair Etamad,
Yes?
Vice Chair Gupta,
Yes.
Commissioner Hall,
present?
Commissioner Fong,
Yes.
Commissioner Farren.
Yes.
Thank you. All in favor? Okay, so moving on to, and so we did read the staff report. I don't know if you all looked at the text label, which is an attachment. You can look at it right on your screen. If you have any comments for that. Oh, here, I know you haven't done.
Whole banner, which one?
Here, I'll show it to you. This is it right here. No, this is the text label.
That looks pretty good.
And Arjun developed this, talking to Thomas Jackson about what he'd like, the recycled fabric, I think it says.
I just want to mention, you might get some comments on fiberglass, because supposedly any little pieces. I just want to say it as a caution, so.
We will handle those as they come. I'm happy to handle those.
And we're not cutting it up there, so we're fine. But
In 7 weeks,
we're going to be good. I'm okay.
So these will be the size of a candidate sign, the kind that's stuck in the lawns. Right, 16 by 18, I think they are, yeah.
15 by 18 is a good size.
16 by 18.
I mean,
Yeah, it will definitely shows up.
And then we could, the arrow,
1,000 words.
Yeah.
the idea for the other ones, the arrow signs would be that it would be the beautiful logo with, it's not here. It'd just be our logo with an arrow to the Thomas Jackson installation. Yard signs, right, and sponsor signs, which we haven't done yet.
What about keep your dog on the leash? You were going to do that.
That's, dog on leash signs are there at the parks already.
Maybe,
They are
maybe,
not
maybe for
enough,
the
though.
directional signs.
Well,
we can do
yeah,
that.
that would be a
We'll
Public
You have
Works
to
thing.
put at least one or two by the installation.
Yeah, I can talk to Public Works about that. Good point.
Dog on a leash.
Dog on the leash.
I'm not seeing
Couple
the
of
pole
them
banner
around
left
it.
and right sign. Is this keep on twirling, downloading?
It
Anyone?
takes quite a while to download, I've noticed. They were big.
Okay,
And they were the
Just
finalized,
like
the
at
final
home.
ones that were redesigned, I believe, by Victoria Miller.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So there'll be, the pole banners are printed on both sides with the same information coming and going, which is nice.
Are these ready to go?
No, because we had to
When
approve
are
the
they going to
cost.
be ready?
We can have them within 7 days, but they'll be up for the whole, this is more to drive interest during the time it's up. They won't be up for May 20.
Oh, it will not
They'll be
there
up probably the
first day.
following week.
Oh, boy, okay.
If I give you this, if I get the sign to you with the
We can get those right away in about 5 days.
Let's do it. I'll do
I'm
it tomorrow.
hoping to do it tomorrow,
And maybe
yeah.
Victoria,
Yeah.
we can talk tomorrow and maybe you can help with some of the directional signs, like this way, or you can design something. I mean, there's not much to design, but we can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
Those are
helpful
simple.
to me too.
Can I just ask a question on
Yes.
these signs? This requires you to view it from the front and the back in order to fully understand, correct?
Are we talking,
The pole banner?
no, they're side by side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, left and right, correct. So you see the whole image and the information. And then on the reverse, same thing.
Same thing. Awesome. Yay. They're beautiful. Do you need a vote on this?
No, we had already approved them. There were some font changes and rearrangement
They're beautiful.
between the artist and Victoria Miller. Look great. When is he leaving town?
Sunday, Monday?
It's doubtful they'll be up. But maybe you can go out and take some great photography of
You mean
them.
the text label? This text label?
No, the pole banners.
Pole banner. yeah.
Paul Banner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is going to be there on the, this will be up around the installation itself. Text.
I think it should be
They
around
still need 7 full days to get them made, and then they need to be installed.
around with
So that's always hopefully we can get them right out there.
people are curious.
Okay, if we have finished with Thomas Jackson action item, we'll move on to the discussion items,
Yes.
which,
The discussion item.
thank you.
Thank you, Victoria.
So,
I'll be in touch.
discussion item number 1, receive update on Dairy Mural Project, including timeline of events, review invitations to visiting dignitaries for ribbon cutting ceremony. So I will stand in for Commissioner Noguez, who will give a detailed report at the May 30
Okay,
meeting.
Before she went away to
So
holiday.
I will just report on where it stands right now, and then she will
Okay.
be back from her trip.
Yes,
and-
please.
So May 18, you have an invitation here. This is a private reception, and as I mentioned, for H&A members and guests, and PASP members and guests. I just brought it. I can email it to you also. I just got this afternoon. And this is the first start of their rollout of the Dairy Mural project. Yes, please.
And then we will RSVP. Once we get the invitations, we will RSVP right
Right.
away.
Right.
Okay.
It's this week.
Yeah, it's this week.
This is
It's
coming
this
up,
Thursday.
yeah.
This is May 18th.
Thursday. May 18th.
In 3 days.
Yep. Their whole, they're inviting the H&A, the town council has been invited, ACE, ANC Ventures, and all of their private donors. This same group will then play at Old St. Hilary to the public as a landmarks fundraiser on May 25. I would suggest that someone volunteers to get in touch with Landmarks because it would be great to have a H&A representative or representatives there at that public concert in order to introduce yourselves and make sure that the acknowledgement is shared with the with Vasco and the Portuguese delegation that the H&A, this is an H&A project. So whoever's available on May 25 on a Thursday.
Is
And
this
I
a-
do not have the time yet for that.
Yeah,
It's a late afternoon, I believe. It's like a 5 or 6 p.m. affair.
is this by invitation? I know it's public, but I mean,
No,
what
it's
are we
for the
supposed to-
public. I don't know what advertising they're using, but he's
So you just
he's
walk
good at
in and,
advertising.
yeah, Okay.
Yeah, he'll go to the Arc, Landmarks will advertise it, yeah. But that's then the following Thursday, a week from this Thursday.
Takers on that one? I have a guest coming into town next week, so
That is,
unfortunately, I'm not gonna be
yeah.
able to do that on Thursday, the 25th. But it's-
And it could be, well, Nora is not back until May 27, so it can't be Nora. I was
Whatever
gonna
is
say.
happening on next Thursday, I won't be able to come.
A week from this Thursday, okay.
That's 25th. but next week, no, this week.
This week
on
is the 18th.
Thursday. On Thursday, I cannot be
This is
there.
this is this, on this Thursday.
Yeah, unfortunately.
What is it that you need a commissioner for?
I was
This is
just
a
saying,
fundraiser.
in order to take some credit that it's an H&A project at that concert, if they are, or if it's just a musical concert, I mean, you don't have to. But it coincides with the Dairy Mural project. Just to speak to Trish, saying that being able to be acknowledged is,
Yeah, well, the landmarks and their publications, they talked about this project, and as Trish said, there's not a mention of heritage and arts at all. So,
it's too bad we didn't get
Maybe
to
somebody from
prove that.
PASB can attend. I've already booked something for that time on the
The
25th.
25th?
Yeah. I'm out.
Well, Jolly may be able to represent on the 25th.
Yeah, I may be able, because I won't be able to do this one this week. Thursday, I cannot. I have obligations. But I will do the landmark, but you have to let me know.
Okay,
You have to let me know.
The timing.
all right. Yeah, I can work with you on that, Jolly. I'll show you.
Please, yeah, the time
Right.
and where it is, I would be glad to
Right.
do that. But it's unfortunate that I can't do
Yeah.
my own, This
So-
lovely concert, I will,
Same musicians, so you'll hear them on June 25.
so this group is not, the musicians will not be at the opening, the ribbon cutting.
Correct, they will not.
That's why you're doing it now. Okay.
That's why they're doing it now, right, because they can't be there at the opening. June 9 is the ribbon cutting. This timeline says 3:30. They thought it was going to be 3:30. If you refer to the letter that's going to go from our town council to all the dignitaries that'll be attending, the vice president of the, okay, let me just see here. You can see they've got dignitaries from the Azores, dignitaries from Portugal proper, the consul general, et cetera, and they wanted and drafted this letter to go from the town council as an invitation. So it starts at 2:30 now and will conclude promptly at 4 p.m. because they will have a program that Nora will present. That's as much as I know. I'm coordinating with the Public Works because they'll block off the trail again. There won't be any Secret Service, but they do want police presence and so on and so forth.
Excuse me, what letter are you talking, is
Oh.
in the packet?
There is a letter, you'll see it printed
Oh,
there.
is that it?
Yeah, it's not on letterhead
Okay.
yet. I just got this, so I just copied it.
Dignitaries who are coming to the Dairy Mural.
I do have a question regarding the project. I think we've been asking, the H&A's been asking about the signage and whatever things are going to go on this mural, and we have not been able to get anything. And I think it is within H&A purview, and this seems to be a fait to complete, because when Nora gets back, when Commissioner Nogas comes back on the 30th, I mean, it's the 9th. I don't think we have a meeting to
I don't
talk
even know
about.
that those
We can
will
dis-
be ready by the 9th. I have no idea how far
But
along
we
they
haven't
are.
had a question, it hasn't been on the agenda, and we haven't had a chance to see it. I think it was an important responsibility for H&A to make sure the signage and all of that would be done correctly.
That may still-
Including no, supposedly that we are not supposed to have businesses and corporations on it. I know we had a situation with, previously with Jim Wood, but anyway, I just want to see what's the status.
Yeah, definitely
Thanks.
question Commissioner Noguez at the May 30 meeting, and they may still come under review. I don't know, excuse me, where they stand, because she is not known. Excuse me, I'm going to have to get some water.
Good point, because it has to have an H&A.
It's too bad it's so late and it's not, H&A doesn't have have some indication of the progress or the drafts or anything.
working
But
on it?
anyway, I don't know, only.
Yeah, okay.
Nora is really the only point person.
Nora is the only person
Okay.
who can help here.
Well, I can write to Nora you know.
She's
an
in
email.
Spain.
She's in Spain.
She's still on email.
She is. We can bug her.
Can we do a time check? I've got another commitment.
Yeah, let's wrap it, I think
You're
we're wrapping
okay?
it up now.
Patty, you're okay? That's good.
There's nothing to vote on, so the only thing that was later in July, excuse me, is they would like, excuse me, my voice. They would like to have an artist reception with 2 lecturers, and there we can talk about this more, the artist and an historian. So they know that's going to be later in July. And another thing that would be discussed is a triptych that they're trying to find a home for. That was the original artwork that was done by the artist for the mural.
Yes, that would be
On
July.
loan, a lone home. They mentioned the town hall. It's a very large work, so it's not likely it will end up at the town hall.
How big is it, do you know?
It's 4 feet wide by, I don't know, about 2.5 feet tall. Oh, pardon me, okay, by 12. It's
12 is
narrow.
only
I
1
wasn't even
foot.
looking, 48 by 12, right?
So it's.
Right.
It's just long.
But it's in
4 feet by
3
1.
pieces, I guess. Being a triptych, that's the way triptychs work.
It's probably about.
He's looking for like a 5-year loan, so he may be looking at the library, which would be, they have a lot more, arguably a lot more wall space than we do. And any open wall space we have, we'd like to be rotating, so.
5-year loan.
Anyway, things to think about, that's all I knew, I just tried to put everything in.
Okay, well,
That's good.
And you see the calendar has the May 18 VIP party at the lodge, 5 p.m. So I did have an inkling of, oh, no, the time is on that. Is it still 5? That went in before that flyer.
it's 5
Does it say
p.m.
5? 6 p.m., so that has changed.
So is it 5 or 6?
It's 6, that's what's
6.
on this invitation I just got
Okay.
today.
Thanks.
We know that May 20, 4 to 5 is the opening of the art installation at the Knoll Park. May 20, 6 to 8 p.m., our VIP reception. May 30, our special meeting, which replaces our regular meeting at 5:30 p.m. And June 9, we have the proper times for the ribbon cutting ceremony.
And for the May 30th, just a question, is that a full meeting like today, or is it going to be a short meeting?
I don't know the agenda yet, so I couldn't say. It's special because it is not our usual date. We have to call it a special meeting, that's all. It was to replace our regular meeting. Not necessarily long, although we will be talking mostly about the reception and how it went, and the installation, and then the Dairy Mural project coming up.
and maybe we'll be able to put something for development, as Trish had mentioned, on the agenda for.
Right.
For June or for something in June.
Sure.
Yes.
I would like to talk about I would like to put on the agenda. I would like to put on the agenda the ad hoc committee on permanent funding.
Yes.
Thank you.
We can, the three of us can figure out a time to go back to Greg.
Yes, next week would be a good time.
Sure.
Yeah. Hopefully Greg will have time.
Okay, shall we call this meeting adjourned?
Yes, I guess
At-
we will.
6:23
Call it.
p.m. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope you get better.
Sorry I missed it for being out of town.
Well, I'm glad that we're